Whew. Hello everyone, welcome back to another stream. I'm just going to be trying to get the link for this properly. Just give me a moment. Because it might come up under a different name. Yep, it's still doing it. God damn it. It's doing some really stupid thing where it's coming up with a different name for the stream. Let's try and rename it. See if that works. So I'm gonna try refreshing this here and see whether it works, and then we should be good. Hey Damon, my day's been going great so far. I'm just gonna try and see if So Damon, do me a favor. Can you get the link for this and put it in the Immersiontale Discord section and see whether it comes up with the stupid wrong name for the stream? Because at the moment it's saying I'm playing Cursed Halo again when I'm not. I just want to see whether it actually comes up in there with the right name, if you don't mind. That's if you're available to do that. If not, it's totally fine. Yeah, I'm just getting this reference together now. And then I'll be going through ideas in a sec. I'm literally just going to be throwing all my ideas from all these other worlds into this one file, and then we'll go from there. So let's see. I need this one. That'll be really cool. Damon says, "Oh, it's the right one for you, dude. That's nuts. How it's the right one for you, but not for me. That's just nuts. One for thee and not for me." I'm just gonna post this in a couple of places. Thank you very much for that, by the way. Let's see if it does it. Yeah, there we go. It does it. It does it properly. I don't believe that. That's goofy. Yeah, it's incredibly goofy. So what we're going to be doing here is I'm going to be going over quite a lot of ideas that I've got for New Home. And I may pause the stream at some point to go like have food whenever. But the idea is by the time I get back, I'm going to have hopefully a floor layout for the castle and everything. So we're gonna just throw some images in here. I'll go through all of the ideas with everybody in stream of what I've got planned, because I did a bit of this the other day in VR chat, and then we'll progress onwards. I need to throw out a lot of images though, so you'll just see me like putting them in Blender. A lot of these are from like VR chat worlds, so fun times. So let's just throw all these out here, just so I can arrange my thoughts. But yeah, how have you been, Damon? Let's throw this one here. I'll have to name all of these as well. So we'll do let's see. Do that, and then we do that'll be Twilight Courtyard, and that one is Breath of the Wild. Hang on, chat, is everything all right? Just double check in. Okay, so far, we got a bunch of different references over here. Now we're going to go ahead and grab some more. And then I'll go through the idea, because the idea is actually, I think, is pretty solid, but we'll discuss it and go through things. Because I kind of described this to a couple of people the other day, and I feel like it's easier going through it this way. I also need to grab a couple of screenshots from my other file here, because I'm just grabbing them from my VR chat screenshot area at the moment. So we'll just go here, go down. A lot of screenshots. Okay, so this is what I got so far. That'll be and then you sure everything's all right? Just check in. Okay, I'm just double checking to see whether this has got any location data on it. I don't think it has. Just to make sure, I'm going to screenshot this twice and get rid of any location data. Okay, there we go. So I can throw that in. There's a lot of reference here that I'm pulling from. I'm just kind of trying to get all of it so I can explain it properly. Trying to make sure I've got absolutely everything done right. I think I'm almost done here. This will at least explain the outside, and then the interior I can get all the shots from. Okay, so you're probably looking at a bunch of images here and being like, dude, what the hell? This isn't New Home. What's going on? But the thing is, I have to design New Home with a couple of things, like ideas, to get a basic overall structure. And we're going to go ahead and talk about a couple of these references and where they sit. So let's start off over here. This is Alticia from Final Fantasy 15. This is a water city. But one or a couple of things that stood out to me that are kind of similar to New Home is just this building, because it has a dome on top of it. And one of Undertale's buildings in the background of New Home has a domed top like this, like a pretty large one. So what I'm thinking of with this is I could literally just copy this right now, but just add the like ramparts or battlement style stone look to this. That'd be really easy to do, and this would sit roughly over here like this, right? So we put that in this area. This is going to be where the entire town is. Similarly here, this is Alticia. This is a tower with that same dome design on it. I honestly don't know how this sits, structurally. It's a complete mess. The roof would have to be heavily reinforced to take that, but it's fantasy, so we can bend things a little bit. So that looked pretty cool as kind of like a secondary tower design for this, and that would be somewhere along here. The ideas that I've got are basically to create a proper castle area, a bit like Castletown from, or Hyrule Castletown from Breath of the Wild. You can see it's got like an exterior wall here with turrets and everything, and then it's got all of the town on the interior and has a bridge up. Now, the idea I'm thinking of doing is having all of that down when I put these other bits of reference over here. And the idea is that Asgore's place is going to be kind of elevated a little bit. I did not look to elevate it originally. I was going to have it set out differently, but when I started thinking about how the wall is here and just like different other key elements that I'd have to take into consideration, I started thinking about designing the entire thing on the edge of a cliff. So to fix the problem of it being on a cliff, I decided I'd do kind of like this in terms of have a lot of stairs that go up the side of the cliff face, and they go all the way up to the top and straight to the main entrance of Asgore's castle, which in this case, if we are setting all this stuff out in rough locations so we know where it all is, then the stairs are going to be located about here, roughly. And the idea is that his throne room, yeah, it sits off to the side, but I want to try and add some other rooms to it, just to give it a little bit more believability to make it large. So we've got the stairs that go up there. The rest of the town or the city, I wanted to kind of look like this in terms of very sort of basic stone-based buildings that you see throughout the underground that have like all the ramparts on and everything else. I thought that was pretty good, and I want to make like an entire floor layout if I can, but while also not make it too hard on me. And I also thought the walls around the area could be like this, like they have the turrets on them, and then you can move around. And basically, this is what I imagined the main walk to be like. So we could start that over here. So the idea is you would come out of this bit. That's funny enough from Sonic and the Black Knight. And the idea is you would walk all the way along the wall. And you would end up passing all these buildings that are over there in the background. And you'd end up at the castle. New home, I've not so much thought of yet like how I'm going to do that. I can maybe have it like sat on a rock and then surrounded by its own little walls. That's kind of a way of keeping it as its own place. This was an idea for the exterior at the front. This is inspiration from Beauty and the Beast. So I was going to use that as kind of like a little bit of a reference, but we'll come back to that in a bit because I found the actual building that inspired all of the Disney castles, and I'm thinking of using a little bit to that for inspiration. So we'll just put that here for the time being. So we've got the front entrance and everything. Some of these areas are going to be slightly tweaked and moved around, but I want to keep the map, if possible, how it looks. So this is obviously going to be to the side. So like where we've got the hallway here that leads to the throne room, I'm actually thinking of having another hallway here that goes to the front. So we got all of this set up so far over here. For other areas, we've got like this black void here. I didn't know what to do with it for ages, and then I thought maybe Asgore has either a proper garden or he has like small courtyard areas, and that's where this reference from the Disney castle comes in from Kingdom Hearts, because I liked this interior area with the windows and everything here. I thought that would be really nice to include in this bit. And then this is like a giant hallway, and they've got walls. Oh, sorry, doors that come off the walls here and lead down. So that would be kind of here, roughly, in terms of location. Everyone's good, like, dude, what are you doing? You're putting way too much thought into this when they watch the video. It's like, no, man, I'm trying to make it look as good as I can. So we've got that roughly there. The idea is that you'll be able to see through there. It adds a bit of light into everything, while also having this bit be fortified. Before we get into the main part, the other bit that I thought of was how to do the outside, because it has to be a castle, it has to be defendable and practical, while at the same time having that fancy style element to it. So as a result, we'll have an exterior wall to the castle, as well as these ramparts and everything, and we'll have it walled off slightly. So we'll have a couple of courtyards in the exterior, possibly with like trees in and stuff. So that's going to go over here. That's reference again from Zelda. And you can see the Judgment Hall is like floating around here. I'll show you why in a moment. So, this is reference from real life. This is a place in the UK called Alton Towers. This is one that Blur recommended to me, the voice actor for Alphys. And they recommended this, and I was looking at it, and I like the side section here that's tacked onto it, because it looks like a hallway. And when I was looking at castles and stuff, I went ahead and looked at like what would be inside of a castle's walls, and sure enough, apparently you can have chapels. And funny enough, the Judgment Hall reminds quite a lot of people of chapels and things. So what I'm thinking of doing is literally taking most of this and just smacking it there, so this bit would be like a hallway, and then you would walk around into the castle area where the keep is. So we'd have that there as reference. Just make sure I save this. And then we've got a bunch of other references I have to go into now. So we've got, let's see here. No, that's Final Fantasy IX reference stuff. We've obviously got the throne room, so I'll just put that in here. Oh, where is it? Where's it gone? Trying to find it. That's the castle walls. I'm trying to find all this this other stuff now. Here we go. I'm trying to find all this artwork that I've got stored up here. So that's going to be throne room. I no joke, I've been looking at everything here just to see what I could do. That'd be pretty cool. I might actually throw that in just as a little nod or reference to something. Let's see what else we got to do. Just trying to see what all the references I have here. Oh, there's other buildings from different places. Let's see. That's going to be what I need for waterfall. That's reference. That's goes castle exterior. That one. So that could be a library, because I really do want the castle to feel pretty realistic in terms of its layout and stuff. Just checking all the designs here at the moment. So here we go. There's another one. I'm just grabbing like all these exterior shots now, just so I can kind of get an idea of how this is going to work. Because the castle needs like 3 towers, ideally. That's going to be throne room as well. Throne room. no, can't open that. That moment where you get an image and you can't open it. Take that one. Oh, where is it? Trying to find it here at the moment. There's another one, that's for the tower. I'm trying to make up this exterior is so hard, but hopefully I can get it to work. There's the real reference. I'll bring that over. It's a good job I can just like throw these in as empties so they don't really affect anything. And then I've still got to, have I got to save the other stuff? There's another one that's referenced for the Judgment Hall. Judgment Hall ref 2. That moment, just throwing out like a load of Gothic stuff. Funny thing was, like yesterday when I was doing all the research for this, I literally found out way more about castles and the way that they're designed. It was totally nuts. I'm just trying to get them all now. There we go. Pembroke reference. The amount of referencing I'm doing here is crazy. There we go. All this crazy process just to make it work. How you doing anyway there, Damon? Okay. So, we'll start throwing all these things. Just playing Cyberpunk. Oh, nice. So we've got little bits of reference for other areas, just to make them up. And it's just so we know kind of what stuff looks like in 3D, and just so you clearly get an idea of what I'm going for here. Obviously, in here we got the throne room. That's just a little reference just to go over stuff, but that's going to be the main part of the keep. Because the keep is mainly where everybody lives in a castle. So at this point, going through like the Judgment Hall would be in here. Now, I like that reference of like a domed roof or something, but the problem is the weight distribution. It makes no real sense there, unless it's a cylindrical room. And then we have like other halls beyond this or whatever. I want to try and make all the rooms make sense if possible. It's either that or I do it as a room without a tower. The reason why I'm trying to get the towers is because the castle is depicted here as having 3 of them. And even though that's only one of them in Waterfall, and I keep saying like for a little bit of an excuse, I'm gonna have that be a completely different castle that Asgore's lived in at one point or another, so that there's at least an answer to that in Waterfall. That is still the base reference for Asgore's castle that everybody uses. So that's going to be put over here as like a base sort of design to go off. And then, like I was saying before, in terms of other places that I want to have in, I definitely want to try and include other stuff as like little hints to what's going on. So for instance, if I wanted to add like a library, Not that I'd model the entire thing, but I'd at least have like the door open or something to make it look bigger. We'd have, say, a library off to the side here. Oh, because I imagine that Asgore's got his own library. One that's not just in New Home. Because the idea of the castle is the royalty stays there as well, not just in the place that he's got here. In terms of everything else, this is another reference that I have for the Judgment Hall. It's another Gothic-style piece of architecture. We can have the ramparts along the side. I'm not so sure about the roof, whether I go all in on the detail there. And for here, obviously, I'd have the Deltarune windows. But the idea being that you go in at this side where I'm at. Oh, I gotta move that. Okay, there we go. So you'd go in at this bottom right side where the door is, and then you'd come out over here and you'd be in the castle, or you'd have to walk a little way through the courtyard to get to the castle. That's just the idea that I'm using for the Judgment Hall at the moment, because it just makes sense, because then it forces people to have to walk through it. Put that there. As for the main hall, this is a reference that I had because I wanted another area that had like a turret, as previously described, to try and get the accuracy for those 3 turrets. I was thinking of doing something like this where it's like Pembroke. I think it's Pembrokeshire or Pembroke Castle, where it has a rounded keep that has a turret on the top. That'd be pretty cool. I'm not so sure about that though at the moment, because of the other artwork depicting stuff. Pyota Lopag says, I hope I've got that right, by the way. Love your work. Do you have any idea when Immersiontale might be coming out? No, unfortunately not. I'm waiting on the voice actors, so while I'm doing that, I'm making everything look as pretty as it can be. This is sounding awesome, man. I love how you're planning it out. Well, it's like, I figure I should plan it out like this, because it makes sense, you know? Because if it makes sense, then when you see it in 3D, it's all going to have, like, realism behind it. It's going to make way more sense. You know, another Blender, man. I did used to use 3D Studio Max, but then I just stopped using it. For this bit with Asgore here, I imagine that's going to be in one of the towers, or the turrets, because you can use those to see over everything. So I imagine like the interior of the turrets, which we'll have over here, just for the sake of not so much placement, but just reference. I love the way I keep trying to select this empty. It's scaling it. Now the other stuff that's got me really hyped here is this is a concept art for Hyrule Castle, apparently from like Twilight Princess, I think. This has quite a few things that I want in it. It's got like the main hall here, but it's cylindrical. It's got the other tower in the background. I'm honestly thinking of just putting like 2 towers here, 1 in the back, and then having the main hall kind of like this. It just makes sense for the overall design. But the thing is, I want to try and do it, again, realistically, so we'd have to have, like, the keep surrounded by the walls and everything. And then, here's where the most interesting parts come in for me personally, is planning this out, you know, like where everything is and where it's sat. So, this is one of the, if not the inspiration for the main Disney castle. It's used for, like, I think it's Sleeping Beauty and Beauty and the Beast and everything else, but it's not so much a functional castle as it is just a fancy house, is the best way of putting it. You can see it in the artwork here. But the artwork is kind of what I drew on for the idea of it being on a cliff and having the stairs that go down. You can just about see them there. And then there's like a garden at the back or whatever. I thought making reference to something like this would be pretty nice. Yeah, I'm using VC Face. Night Fox. So if we take this and use this as reference and have it on a cliff face, then we kind of get this idea that the entire place is going to be like elevated on this plateau. So what I'm thinking of at the moment. Hey, memes. I have arrived for the 12th time in stream chat. Memes, I'm going crazy. I'm doing. I should really wear a hat that says game theory on or something at this point. But I think I've got this down now. So the idea for here, if we want to visualize this in 3D, I'm just going to do it like basic cubes for the moment. I have one thing. I need your opinion on some art. Yeah, that's fine. That's all good. So we'll do basic block out geo. We'll put that there, right? So the idea here, this might need to be extended in terms of length of the area or whatever. But the idea is we have roughly, yeah, it's definitely gonna need to be edited a little bit. So the map's gonna be a little bit bigger. So the idea is we have this plateau area here. If I put that there. And this is where the entire castle is going to be located, so we'll set the castle on top of it. Just to say, a laugh, we'll do castle cliff. And then, just to represent the castle, we'll have just another box here. And the castle's going to be sat on it. Probably like this for the time being. We'll... We shall see. I might need to actually make this bigger. That moment where I make New Home look absolutely massive. So, you got that sat on there. Now the idea is we go down to the civilization below. So, we take this area here. I've sent the line out away from my wrist for recovery. It's on the drawing for Asgard. Oh, nice. Let's have a look. Oh, I like that. I like all of that artwork. That's awesome. Oh. So what we've got here. It took 30 minutes each. It's really good artwork. I really like the representations. And I like all the color and everything. The style is just brilliant. It's the one thing that I like the most about it is the style. Like, it's very cute, but the representations are really good. Thank you, Sis Memes. No problem, you know. It's all good. Here's where I drive everybody crazy doing this. So what we've got is this kind of thing, right? I'm just going to do this at a very basic level. I'm going to draw your character once I figure it out again. Thank you. Here we go. We got this thing going on, right? This is going to be, again, a very basic representation just to kind of get the idea across so everybody can see this. Moody doing things simple. No, no, no. What happened to MapPart 2.0? I'm doing it now. I'm literally doing MapPart 2.0 now. Let's see. Okay. So something like this. Explain for now. No. No. So that's where that would be. Roughly. And then for the geo here, we have the Judgment Hall tacked onto the side, like so. Coolio, a staircase. Yeah, it's going to be a lot bigger, that staircase. I imagine the mountain that it's on is going to be, well, the cliffside that it's going to be on is a lot bigger. I'm going to have to scale up quite a lot. New Home is not going to be scale accurate. I think it's, if I wanted to do the entire castle, and I do, it's going to need to be changed scale wise. Here we go. I've already got like a very basic version of the Judgment Hall here. Then the idea, like I was saying, is we tack on the Judgment Hall to the side of the castle, right, like this. And the idea is like, well, what's to stop you from just like walking around the Judgment Hall and just going into Asgore's castle? Because you have to go through it in the game, right? So the idea is that the rest of this, pretty much similar to how I've done everything else, is on the edge. A giant cliff that's raised above all the rest of the civilization, right? The idea is that where Asgore's place is, it's literally perched right on the edge. And so is the Judgment Hall. So we have this kind of a situation going on where you got this kind of setup going on. And then the rest of it is basically stuff that goes around it. So you can't even really have any defensive walls for Asgore's castle. It's just mainly for the town. Like, for instance, we got the towers here. And we'd have... the towers would be where the elevators would be as well. So you got this kind of thing going on where we can... we can see the tower here. It's right next to the Judgment Hall. And then another one over here. We'll decide that later. But we'll take this. And as you come out the Judgment Hall is when you are able to get on the wall again. So we'd have... I just realized I need to lower that to about there. So you'd get on this wall and walk all the way along the ramparts until you get to New Home. So New Home's roughly about there. So we move this tower just a little bit. You can already see it's getting a little bit crushed here, so I might have to move this stuff over, especially because of the stairs that I made there to go to the front of the castle. Have to move this over a little bit. So there'd be a tower in the way as well, stopping you from just going straight to Asgore's castle. Have that like that. We'll just ignore the gap there for the moment. I can fill that in later. This is just basic geo, just to get an idea of all of this. For Asgore's house in New Home, honestly, unsure about it at the moment. Thinking I'm going to have to do something about that in terms of, like, how I portray that. Don't know whether I should build it into, like, a rock or something, or a cliff. I think I mentioned that the last time, where I was like, maybe I should have it where it's built into a cliff face. You know, so you kind of go through the cliff. That would actually be pretty cool. So if we go this way like this, right? Because I've been on about cliff faces and stuff anyway, so if we have this other big one behind, then that would make perfect sense. Mesh cube. Giant one. It's like this size. And we'll just smack that there, right? And the idea is this is going to be kind of like the wall that's right next to the barrier. Or loop round, at least. So the idea is we're going to kind of loop around here. So, we take this, we delete that. And for new home, when we get to it here, for this bit, I think we'll have it do this. Right. Let's just get the basics of this done so that I can kind of show what I'm going for. Because this is going to wall off quite a lot. 3 months ago, I've gone to the Blender Foundation in the Netherlands to see the SEO. Oh, nice. Right, so that would be where the barrier is there, roughly. And this is totally out of scale at the moment. I'm just getting an idea of this all in 3D. So at the moment, what we've got is this giant cliff in the background. And Asgard's place. Now the idea is there's the Judgment Hall. And there, going through the wall, is a bridge that goes to New Home. And New Home is inside this cliff here. And the idea is that at the back of Asgard's house, we're going to have like a hole in the cliff, and he's going to be able to see out of it a little bit. So, if we go... Because there's no point in giving the guy a home and not giving him a nice view of everybody else. So we do something like this, right, where we extrude inwards. Ooh. The idea being that by having this like this, and we can just have something like, say for instance, we could even have from the exterior something like pillars to still hold up this stuff. Like this, right? Something similar. The idea being that New Home would be in there and walled off. And then that would explain why the front of it looks like the ruins, because the way that I've got the ruins at the moment is the ruins are basically like catacombs, and Asgard's place is supposed to kind of reflect that. So what we get is this crazy view when we come out of here again of all of down there. That's a little bit shorter, of course. It's actually a lot longer in the game. So you're going to have to extend that. But then after that, we then have the walk from New Home. So this would be like this cliff face here. Oh. Let's just drag that around there for the moment just to illustrate this. The person who worked for years to create this program, that's why I respect him so much, as Night Fox. Blender's such a good program. I absolutely love it. Good luck. Have a nice day with your project. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Night Fox. Oh. So then, once we leave that area and come out here again, then we have the long walk past everything else. We've got this kind of thing going on where we go to here, then we go along, we go all the way past here, and that's where we get all of this stuff shown off, right? And then right at the very end, then got another tower, which we have back here. Duplicate that. You got these 2 towers either side here. I might even have this so it pulls in a little bit tighter because of the way that I'm designing this. This is really bare bones at the moment. I might do this differently. Not too sure right now, because having stuff in the background on this side for a little bit would be kind of nice. We've got this going on. And then where's the other reference? Ah, yeah. We got the other tower here. And the last one that leads to Hotland down there. So turn down here, and then turn down here. And then from here, we'd link that round. So what we have is an area that looks like it's going to extend down a lot more. We've got probably this kind of an area to work with. If I draw this out. We've got to draw that kind of an area. And we can have, say, like a Hotland exit here. And then have the wall here go down and then continue round. So there's like a castle barricade wall there, like a rampart wall. And then we've got this coming round here. And then all the town stuff is in here. And then for the barrier, I just realized the barrier's not going to fit there. What I'd have to do is put it in the wall here. So I'd have to take the barrier from here and just go and let that stick it in the side wall. So it would make sense. The idea being that either that, or I could have it be like an endless walk that leads all the way, or like a giant bridge, and then it leads to here, which would be the exit. I think it's better putting it like there, and then having that be part of the castle, because that can be like another tower. So we've got like a tower here. Then we've got, let's see, because we need 3 of them. Maybe a tower there. And then maybe a tower at the back here. And then the idea is the rest would be like the main hall, some corridors, possibly some smaller turrets here. And then we got the Judgment Hall tacked onto the side. And then we have, say, like another section that's stuck out here. Another turret here. That's going to go into the basement, but from the outside, that would cut off there. And then if I wanted to, I could link that into the back, like I said before, to have the library. And then have maybe like a staircase for, say, like, let's say here. And then for the front, we could have another entrance just where this turret is. And this can be a giant great hall that leads off into the other areas and goes upstairs, but we don't get to see those. And then this would be the front courtyard that would lead down. I honestly think that's not too bad a design. And it kind of makes more sense because weight distribution wise, the turrets and towers would not affect the main structure then. They'd just be kind of set off from it. And then you'd still have that look of, say, a castle while also retaining the other aspects from like the Disney castles. Like say for instance, where was it? The roof here. What we'd have essentially is kind of like this. We could even put like a couple of smaller turrets on the main roof, but we'd have like these larger towers with turrets on that are flanking the main area and are attached to it. And then we just have like the main building be this, and then have holes in the roof because of the light coming through it from the ceiling. I honestly think that would just work really well. But yeah, that massive amount of surface area I'm gonna have to do. Oh boy. I'm just gonna I love the way it says new home basic for the file name up here that you can't see. Oh, anyway, I think that's a decent design right at the moment. I'm gonna have to go back to Beauty and the Beast's place, I think, in VR, and just check that out again, get some reference shots from it, just to really help out with this. Either way, that's the idea at the moment. Don't forget the murder holes. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do them lower down. Like for instance, shows on the reference here, where you have not so many big windows down below. You have the smaller windows, and then as you get up, you get the larger ones. But that's only for like the main area. Although, because of how this is, you can't really defend this castle from here. The only way we can have other courtyards or sectioned off areas is if we do like that with the main castle town. You know, like have the main castle town walled off, because there's no way I can have a courtyard here the way that I've worked it at the moment. I will figure it out. I will figure it out later. I'll actually like draw the proper castle up how I want it based on the references, and then I'll just build it from there. But the idea is that the exterior transitions should make sense. So for instance, when we're walking to the castle, I want people to be able to see the entire front and everything and the spires, and it make sense with the Judgment Hall attached to the side of it. And then as we get in, it's not so much a couple of separate rooms that look nothing alike. It should be you go from the Judgment Hall into the castle's hallways, and then coming off that, you get to see mini areas, just like sneak peeks of what could be. So for instance, like in this area, with me having a doorway here into the Great Hall, sorry, what you'd see is like I'd leave the door open and you'd be able to see the hallway that leads in, possibly with like you know, like the coat of arms, the Deltarune flags that just adorn the Great Hall either way, and you'd be able to see doorways going off into other areas. But we obviously don't explore them. But then it actually gives credence to this place being a proper area instead of literally just 3 or 4 rooms tacked together. You know, so I feel like that's going to work. It's going to be obviously a little bit more extra work and a little bit more imagination to things. But I do think it'll work. I do think it will. It'll just take a little bit of time, but it'll be worth it. And then for this bit, where is it? For this bit, I'm thinking of using like Ocarina of Time as a reference. The Temple of Time here, because the Temple of Time has a circular bit on the back of it. So the idea being that you walk through here and you get to the back, and this has a circular area on which has windows in. And the idea is the light from the barrier would shine through the windows and then shine through this. It like bounces off the floor there, goes in through the window. The roof would have holes in it, so that would mean light would come in through there, like it has on so many different pieces of art. And then this last hall would be one of the other side buildings that comes off and leads to here. So it might even be like a very small hallway that's tacked on. So we got like this kind of thing going on the inside, where we've got the windows running up to the hallway, and then we've got the door at the end. And then exterior, it'd basically just be... This is so terrible drawing with a mouse, by the way. You just have like that look from the exterior with the light coming through here. And then we come in that way and exit here. So yeah, I think after throwing all these ideas around, it's gonna work. I just need to take a lot more screenshots from the areas where I'm currently looking at. Excuse me if anybody can hear me drinking. I'm not drunk, or hardly drunk all day, so. Oh. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed, and I shall see you on the next one. So until then, bye!